my computer camera. I should fix it. I know. I shouldn't be faceless. This is not a good idea. Yeah, I'll fix it. I promise you. I'll get this fixed. You know, come be nearer to you all would be nice.
Okay, we're going to wait some more minutes to see if somebody else is joining. So while we're waiting, Joe, the idea is to relocate the workshop no more at away, but in Washington, or
Oh, I think the idea is to that we don't really need the workshop. What we need are actually good papers, articles, and there are two possibilities. One is a special issue of the Journal of uh, Frontiers in Space Technology, and the other one is a book. And so I'm going to, one-on-one basis, talk to various people who have presented for the two Zoom sessions and members of my organization, National Space Society, and of course SRI, to line up the articles and so on. And so the point is, when we focus on what was our objective, the objective is actually to get the articles and get them reviewed and so on. And we decided we can do that virtually without the time and effort and expense of doing the workshop.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, excuse me, Joe. I thought I would like to send in an abstract, if that's okay. I understand the paper is about 12 pages. You're expecting a final paper about
well,
12 pages.
actually, there's two categories. One, articles about 12 pages, and if it's actually a chapter for a book, perhaps 18 to 20 pages. So you can decide whether you want to go for a journal article, and if you will, maybe more of a journal-like presentation, or whether you want to go for a more technical, scientific, or detailed, footnoted article for a book.
Right, I'm not any good with references, so I'll go for the first option.
Right,
But
right.
when is the abstract due, Joe?
We're asking it by the end of March,
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
and the paper by the end of September.
Okay.
end of September, by the way, is the IAC in
Right,
Australia. Yeah,
right,
yeah. Many homeworks to do this summer.
right, right.
Well, I don't know. Bernard didn't reply to my message.
I'm going to send a message to Jim Christophila. He was planning to
Ah,
attend.
he wrote me that he cannot join because
Oh,
no, he has a doctor appointment.
okay.
But I want to give a ring to Bernard just to understand if he can join or not. Hmm. Okay, not responding. So, yeah. Well, I think we can maybe start this meeting. And so what I have proposed is to start a very critical discussion and a difficult one that by the way I recognize, I acknowledge myself. I'm not able to introduce this discussion, but I will only put on the table what I think are the main points that characterize this time period. And why this is important, because next year we should have our fourth World Congress, because the last one was in 2021. And 2026 will be 5 years, so we are expected to have a Congress. In our Congresses, we used to write a general thesis that is concerning the status of civilization and the status of this perspective to expand into space. We made for some aspects a prophetical thesis in 2021, because we have foreseen the crisis, the big crisis, general crisis that was incoming, and it is in full development now. And but okay, so I'm not happy that we were right in our forecast. Of course, I would prefer that we were wrong. And yeah, my impression. Okay, I have to tell you that I'm scared. Definitely, I'm scared by the situation. I don't live in the United States, and I don't know anything about that reality, but I'm afraid that things will not be easy, let me say, and the possibility of hard confrontation are in the near future, because the things that are happening are definitely understandable from one point of view, because there are many things also in Europe, in Italy. We can see similar things, and of course, people was enough of what is called the walk and about the depressive green transition and all these kind of policies. Therefore, it is more or less to be expected a reaction on the other end. The bad thing is that the reaction is not able to create, to be original and create new flags, but it takes back all the flags of the past century, and flags that were blooded flags, dirtied by the blood of many million people in Europe, in Russia, everywhere, and that is, I think, a bad sign that humanity is not able to come up with positive, really progressive revolutions, and in order to get rid of the old heavy depressive policies, we see kind of monsters coming up and doing, we don't know if they are doing the dirty job, and something better will come later. But however, it is a very critical situation. I feel that I personally feel that my humanist basic concepts are questioned, because yeah, a person that was intended to be a humanist, a humanist vanguard that had such a big intuition to create reusable rockets and to kick off the new space revolution, now is taking in his hands some old flags, very bad flags, and I think the space movement is disoriented by that. We don't see big discussions coming up. I don't know if they are discussing. I don't know if they are discussing in the NSS, let me say, or in the Mars Society, another big organization. And I personally know Bob Zabrin, and I have chatted several times with him. And I know that, okay, his priority is Mars, and he always seconded the strategy advanced by Elon Musk to give priority to Mars. But in the same time, if some of us has read his book called well, okay, I will come up with the title later. However, it is a book on the anthropology of the last 1.5 century, and it describes the origin of the eugenetics thoughts and the Nazist ideologies, and he is definitely against. Bob Zabrin is a sincere humanist, and it is against these bad ideologies, and he often posted some his thoughts about the war in Ukraine and the need to keep on supporting Ukraine and so on. So I think Bob Zabrin, I have not exchanged any talk with him recently, but I think he should be in a big contradiction himself between the perspective for Mars on one side and the terrible ideology that is coming up on the other side. And okay, this is just to make some examples. I was saying I don't know if the other organizations are discussing and what are the terms of the discussion and what they are saying in the United States, because the biggest organization are in the United States. But also, I would like to know what they are discussing in the UK, for instance, and well, in the rest of Europe, the organizations are not so big. But well, the Moon Village maybe is another case that it would be interesting to know what they are discussing and what they are argumenting. And most of all, this is what we try to do with our congresses. In our congresses, we try to analyze the status of civilization and then to come up with a resolution, an indication of what is to be done in order to support and accelerate the kickoff of the civilian space development. So this is what we try to do. Other organizations could have different methods. I don't know. I was at the ISDC a couple of times, maybe 3 times now. And I see that they have many sessions discussing, etc., etc. I don't know if they have some kind of political focus coming out from the ISDC conference. However, yeah, I guess that no, I don't guess anything. I don't know. I don't know what the space community is or not discussing in these days, seeing what is happening, because we have in this period, well, for many years we tried to bring the discussion on space development inside the normal political daily discussion. We say that this was one of our tasks to bring this topic on the table of normal people, together with the sanitary system, the educational system, the transports, and the price of energy, etc. Also, the space development, because it is very much okay. All of our elaborations say that space development is the factor of sustainability, and therefore it should enter. Well, now we have people, normal people. They are talking about Elon Musk, but they don't know what Elon Musk has done from 2000 and year 2000, early 2000, and coming on. But okay, they heard that he wants to go to Mars and put Donald Trump said he wants to put the U.S. flag on Mars. So people are listening about space in the political discussion, but in a way that is totally confusing, because no real concept is discussed. No real well, this news come as another striking thing that make normal people think that those guys are crazy, and they and so on. So it is very, very difficult to recap the discussion with people and to make them understand that, however, to go outside, to go into in space, and to start the cislunar economy is essential, is mandatory, because otherwise we will implode in a global conflict. So this is, but what I can see is that if we decide that SRI has a role in this situation, and though being a small organization, we, however, have a role, and we have to put to bring ahead our proposals and so on. We have to know that this will be very much more difficult than even 6 months ago, because 6 months ago we had a vision of the world, of the reality, that was completely different from the situation of today. So I think that we have to decide if we want to make our Congress. First decision to be taken. If we say yes, it means that we should be able to write a thesis, a real thesis, with a good analysis of the situation of the civilization, and try to indicate a way to go ahead. If we think that we are able to do that, then we should start to make this work the sooner the better. First of all. Second, I would like to ask the space community to help us, because this will be, I think, the most difficult task that we have to face from many years. Oh, this stupid telephone. Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
Susan, hi.
Yeah, hi. I just want to say a few words. Living in America right now, right? So unless you're not in it, you don't really know what's going on or how you feel. But I'm going to say, from my perspective, having been in this space sector, and even before the word commercialized space was a vocabulary in our lexicon, right? I was already trying to push that. And for the last 15 years or so, you know, Elon Musk was the poster child of commercial space. And in less than 6 months, he destroyed it all and taken us back nearly 20 years or 30 years because he's politicized space exploration. And the problem is, if you politicize anything, you're going to have polarization. You're not going to have cohesive collaboration.
Yeah.
And so what I want to say is, it's for me, I have direct experience now what's happening before Elon did what he did and what's happening now, because I'm heavily involved in this commercial space and so on. And when I talk to the general public or out there, who are the lay people, I'm not talking about people in the choir like us here. We're all in the choir here. We all want to, expand to go to space and da-da-da. That's why we are together. But we're in the choir. You don't need to convince anybody in the choir, but trying to convince people who are not in the choir, who have no idea what we're doing, that's the point. That's the hardest challenge. So right now, what Elon's done, which I'm really upset about, is that people see what we're doing and they laugh at me. They laugh at us. They say, look, you're just Elon. You're trying to destroy the world, create a whole new order so that you're the oligarchs and you want to go to space. So that's what people are thinking right now. They think space is like before. It was hard to say no, space is for all, not just for the elite. But now it is even more pronounced. That whole branding message of space is only for the rich and the oligarchs, because the oligarchs here in US, which I never ever thought I would ever say that. I'm sorry, I'm really upset because I'm getting it in my face every day, right? When I'm trying to say, hey, space exploration, come and learn, da da da. And they just laugh at me because they're laughing at Elon Musk and that what he's doing and being far right. So here in the United States, and thank goodness I have dual citizens, so I can always go back to UK. But it's sad. It's sad for what's happening. And I've been fighting this. So yes, we can write this thesis. We can do all these things, but you're only going to bring on the choir. You're not going to bring on this because there's so divisive, rhetoric and the environment that we're living in the United States. I've never ever thought it was hard enough already. For 20 years, I've been trying to push this space exploration, using space to help improve life on Earth. That's my message. Thank goodness I can say that now, because at least when people come up to me and denigrate what I'm doing and try to, laugh at my face, I said, well, I'm not saying to forget about human life on Earth. I'm trying to use space to end it. So when they say that, they can relate to it. But they still say, well, it's Elon Musk and the oligarchs. So it's hard. It's the hardest thing. So all I'm saying is, and I am very angry. I'm very angry what I'm seeing. In fact, on Saturday, there's a huge International Women's Day. And I'm going to be for the first time, actually going to join a huge parade down in Los Angeles to fight for women in science, in space exploration, because that's what what's happening here, right? The removal of women and a voice for women in US society, in the space exploration, in science, in DEIA. How can we even just say, well, let's just write a thesis to have this global thing to go to Mars or Moon and put a flag? I mean, it's ridiculous. Right now, I feel like we're back 15, 20 years ago when I first started, when I was going to conferences and people laughed me out the room because I'm saying, oh, commercial space is going to be a viable proposition within our lifetime. We're going to see general, normal people, not just government, military to go to space. And here we're going backwards. I'm sorry. I'm just really upset.
Susan, don't be upset. Look,
Can
I say something? I know Joe wants to talk as well. We don't have a lot of time, but just quickly, you have to understand that what has happened is something that was called the information age, something that started with the space age. Now you've got AI, you've got this immense thing going on. This whole world's getting wired up into some kind of computerized network. We don't even know what this is. This is happening now. It's a data age. It's happening. Everything's radically different. The space is being seen as a political domain, a military domain, a domain of where it could actually be an international domain, a humanistic domain dedicated to the betterment of mankind. This could actually happen. The other thing is that, you know, appealing to the NSS or whoever happened to be the space community on the ground, it takes a long time. You have to go through layers and layers of whatever it is, arguments for Elon Musk, against him, this and that. It goes backwards and forwards. We have a position with the UN, which is immensely valuable because it's a hierarchical society. Now, the leaders of this world know somewhere in the back of their mind, this thing isn't working. If they militarize space and they shut down the global space village, the communication between the agencies, they're going to end up with a new Cold War. What Adriano calls the closed world, a very oppressive environment for people to live in. In China, they have a highly developed surveillance society. And this is going to spread everywhere. Coupled together with high levels of militarization, like drones, cyberspace, the whole thing, it becomes unmanageable. There's a sanity in the back of this somewhere. The leaders of this world are not nuts. They're not crazy. They know there's expediency. They know there's alternative pathways. They know what diplomacy is. They know that Russia's talking sense about the arms ban. It goes on anyway, but it goes on in the UN. It's a diplomatic circle. Now, we're very lucky. We may have an entree some way that we can write a few papers, put them in front of the UN. You know, they'll be evaluated. Some of these ideas might get taken up. Now, I think that should be our focus, not going after Elon Musk, not worrying about all the space community, what people are doing on the ground, this and that. Just focus on the reality where we got to now. The fact that this is a turning point. Either we have OST development, we have weapons ban, we have collaborative international programs for the moon and elsewhere, and we get past it. We get into what it could be termed a trans-political state, a place where the politics aren't so important. The data is something that is kind of has to be handled, and how that's handled is very much linked to the human rights and human development. It's very important as education, definitely security for people. People need it. And I'd like to mention that my family, my mother's family was exterminated in the Holocaust. Yeah, I lived with this trauma all my life. She escaped from Paris. She was evacuated to London. She met my father. But I've lived with this thing all my life. I know what it is. I know what the Nazis, I know what they did. mass extermination on an industrial scale. Now, you can't use this kind of language. You call Elon Musk a Nazi, you call so-and-so a Nazi. We're not using this as a political tool anymore. The Jews
Amelia,
won't use it. They won't use it. It's something that happened to the Jewish people, and we're not going to go and throw this in people's faces anymore.
No, we're not. I'm not.
I understand it's genocide. We have a lot of very serious issues, you know.
Of course, but
I don't want to, you know. I just wanted to point that out because
I know. But I'm not
personally, I find it very offensive, and I don't think anybody should indulge in this unless they actually have genuine cause to believe that people are being exterminated in that way. So, okay.
We're not I understand what you're saying. I'm not just saying, I'm not targeting.
Yeah, but we don't have much time for discussion. So I've made my comments. I think Joe is next, and everybody should put their comment in.
I will, but you need to let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead, Susan, please.
I want to say that space is already militarized. It's not a rhetoric. It's not just on a theory. That's why we have the US Space Force. It's already militarized. And you know what they've just done? They've closed down certain aspects of NOAA because there are certain aspects of NOAA departments that oversee satellites and communication on Earth. And that's the reason. And because I'm saying Elon, because it is his company, Starlink controls and wants full control of space. So what you're saying, it doesn't matter. It's already happening. And that's where I know the UN is there, but all this rhetoric, all this discussion is just discussion. You have to also look what's the reality of the action that's actually happening now. And that's it. I'm going to stop there.
Okay. I would like to chip in. I think we all have real serious concerns about the emerging situation and what to do about it. I do have one, I hope, practical suggestion of something that we could do. Our organization, ACES, is in the process of becoming a observer at COPIUS. And there are a number of organizations who have if you will, concerns in this area, whether it's the Secure World Foundation, the National Space Society, SRI, ACES, and so on. And I think that there would be a possibility of getting a what I would call a humanist statement about space and what it means for the world and world cooperation and so on. And that is one thing that we could try to do, is to work with these other organizations who have similar perspectives and similar concerns to have a statement about what space is for and how it's international commons and that we need to work in peace and harmony and so on. So as I say, we hope to be admitted as observer, and there are at least 5 or 6 other organizations who are observers who I think would join with a common statement that SRI, ACES, Secure World Foundation, SEDS, and so on could all jointly produce and try to issue at least to the UN Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space. We don't have a large megaphone, but that's one thing that could be done. I think that's practically achievable.
That's a very good idea. Excellent. Well,
yeah. Thank you, Joe. I think that will be a good thing to do, of course, and we can start to do it now at the legal subcommittee that is going to meeting in May, and in the General Assembly that will be in June, end of June and beginning of July. So we
So
can.
I could talk to Peter Martinez, who's the head of Secure World Foundation, and people at NSA and so on.
Could you
NSS.
And we can start to
Yeah.
produce a draft or something like
Yeah, could you please mention the Russia-China initiative for the space weapons ban? It's very important. The US said that they wouldn't accept it because there were no verification mechanisms. It's got to be thrashed out. They need verification mechanisms. They've got to bring in this treaty. And could you mention it? I mean, I'm just throwing this out here, but Joe, Adriano, I'd be very grateful if you could mention this in the statement to the UN.
Well, I think the first step is just to figure what we want to do and talk to some of the other people, and then start a drafting process. So send us your ideas.
All right, thank you.
Adriano, I see that Barnhard hasn't been in several of our board meetings. Has he left the organization? What's going on?
He wrote me now on WhatsApp that he cannot join to our meeting now. That's okay. I hope we will see the minute and Gary.
Yeah, because Werner has a very strong voice, right? In the political sector, especially in Europe.
Yeah.
So it would be good to have him actually be
Werner
active.
But Barnhard was working for us. Sorry, I'm in another meeting too. I hope that will not be disturbing. I'm in the Itacus committee, and therefore, but Barnhard was at the UN in Vienna for us and talking for us. So he is making a lot of work for us. So even if you don't see him here, but he is really active. And he is at the moment organizing the next Impul. He's also active at IAF, and in our name, I have to defend him somehow.
Sure. No, we have a let me say a good team at Copos, because even in the last meeting of the scientific and technical subcommittee, we were there. Myself, Werner, and Marie-Louise also, and Barnhard came a bit later because he was in Morocco at the conference in Morocco. But he came when I come back. He come there. So I think SRI is present at Copos, and I think we are doing a good job. In the last in the scientific technical committee, we made 3 presentations. One by myself on the energy issue, the triple E, another one by Werner on the Lagrange space factory, and one by Barnhard on SRI, and a general presentation of SRI. So I think we have a good audience.
Adriano, I had a question. You have here, you say our campaign nullified, UN flag on the moon, the UN is out of the game.
Yes,
and that.
yes,
What are you dropping the UN programs or what?
I tell you why. I'm writing this thing. So all of in our history from 30 years and to today, even before Space Renaissance was founded. So I'm talking about the 90s of the past century, when we had several groups that were discussing via email and taking position and writing papers and so on. However, we understood that it was very much better to focus our work on the space policy. So we said, when Space Renaissance was founded in 2010, we said, we are a philosophical association. we have a philosophical elaboration and discussion, and we focus on policy, but not old policy, only the space policy, because we understood that there were still ideological agendas. Of course, the space community is not something outside of the normal of the general society. We are inside. Therefore, people have their orientation, right or left, collectivist or liberal, and so on. And in the 90s, especially in the 90s, we saw very bad counterposition coming up because the different ideological agenda were still more important than our shared goals to promote civilization expansion into space. So at a certain point, when SRI was born, we said we will only discuss about space policy, because we know that the goal, the shared ideal to make humanity to expand into space is something common that we share among people that has different orientation, but they are not important because we share this very important. So we don't look anymore at left or right. We look up. We look at the sky because we want to go outside. So and this was an important decision, I think, that allowed SRI to grow up and to, let me say, to navigate, so to say, safely even in troubled political waters, let me say. But now the situation is completely different, because now the space policy entered the usual the general policy, and this thing happened in a very disruptive way, because, as I say at the beginning of my talk, let me say talk, because I don't claim to have an idea, some direction to propose, but however, I just try to introduce this discussion that we have to start. Well, nowadays, all the different layers are together. The philosophical layer, the political, the general political layer, geopolitics, astropolitics, and the space discussion. Mars is again counterposed to the moon. And there is a discussion if Artemis has to go ahead or not. So when I say the UN, the 18 SDG is still a possible proposal, I'm afraid not, because we are not discussing what people will enter the space program or not. We aren't anymore in the position to say that we have to be inclusive and all the people on Earth should have the possibility to enter in the cislunar economy and so on. This is nowadays this thing is laughable, because what Susan said, that the future is for oligarchs now, and it will be very difficult. I think a role that I can imagine for SRI and maybe other organizations, if they recognize this point, is to work like a kind of trade unions in defending the rights of humans. SRI could work as a trade union for humans on defending the rights of humans. That means a lot of things. No,
Adriano, why do you think...
Sorry. Let me just a few words more. then I stop.
Ah.
I think we have to take account of peoples more than nations. I think peoples are more important than nations in the world. And why everything is turmoiling and everything is in movement, I think these concepts are to be taken up again, that self-determination of peoples is important, and the inclusion of people to give to try to give all the people the same possibilities to learn, to become spacefaring and so on. Okay.
Adriano, why
Yes.
do you think that the 18th SDG is redundant? Because it's now in the hands of oligarchs and not the people. You don't think oligarchs would want the 18th SDG? You don't think that could be a vehicle that could help them to create human development? You don't have any faith in the good intentions of the, commercial space developers? This world is not run by monsters.
Oh, no, I don't believe that. I think oligarchs only think that money are.
No, that's
needed.
not.
They have
so.
money. They have money, and for them, they think that's enough. They don't.
If you're going to make them the enemy, then how are you going to get through to the people that are actually running the world?
They don't care about you. They don't care about UN.
It's an economic condition, Adriano. It's not a political situation. It's an economic condition. Oligarchs want to use space. They want to use data. They want to run a technocratic society. This is an economic climate. It's an economic condition. You can't say, well, you can't do that. You're the enemy because we want the people. You have to accept the fact that they have good intentions, that they intend development for their country. They're willing to work with other nations. You want to.
Amalie, sorry, I agree with you. UN is important for us being at COPWAS just because it is a floor where we can talk to 110 countries.
That's right. Why do you want to get rid of the 18th SDG? Why are you throwing the 18th SDG under the bus? It's a great vehicle.
Can we hear from Gary and Alberto, please?
Yes, Gary and Alberto. Gary and Alberto, please.
I think Gary may have left or something.
No, I did not leave.
Oh, good, great, you're there.
I may be at least semi-mythical, but I definitely did not leave. My take on this, to Adriano and all, comes back to the presentation that I gave at the UN adjacent workshop. It was entitled, the 18th SDG, a ministrivia or a call to action. Okay, I believe that there's an inherent value in the 18th SDG as a concept or framework for articulating what are the outcomes we wish to achieve, what is the future that we wish to see come to pass, and our ability to wield that as a tool for framing the discussions, I believe can be invaluable, and as a basis for an ongoing call to action, for the organization and the collective efforts of those that wish to see us as a spacefaring society in species. The fact that whether or not you change a document or not at this juncture is not as important in my mind as being able to frame the discussion and in a manner that draws out the future we wish to see come to pass.
That's right, because you're creating an intellectual input, which is immensely valuable. The ideas in themselves have value and may be taken up in various different ways. We don't really know, but just putting the ideas. Yes.
Sorry, Alberto.
Yes, I think I would just add, first of all, I fully agree with Amalie and with Gary about going on with our initiatives, and I think that they are extremely valuable. And by the way, I would add that the international climate is not changing for worse, but for better from this point of view. Because it's clear, I dedicated much time in recent days to the analysis of what's happening in an international politics. It's very clear that the Trump administration wants to normalize the relation between US and Russia. They are not discussing Ukraine. They are discussing the general relation between US and Russia. And their purpose is to normalize that relation and to go and to get to better, to more peaceful terms.
Yes.
Maybe we may not like what they are doing in certain circumstances, the language and anything, but their purpose is normalizing the relation with Russia. So the international climate from this point of view has improved, not worsened. And on the other side, many say they are doing this because they want to increase the conflict with China. In the end, I think also considering what China normally does, if there is this more peaceful relation between US and Russia, China will step down with the threatening Taiwan and so on. I think the general situation may improve, and I firmly think that the Trump administration is much better than Democratic administration from this point of view. Because Democratic administration, with all their language of peace, they were warmongers. Because they kept wars going on, and they didn't even try to for real to stop them. You know very well, they wanted, the purpose of the Democratic Party was to destroy Russia, to use the Ukraine as a mean to destroy Russia. This was a disaster from the point of view of international relation. I'm sorry, I'm making political comments in this case, but not political. I'm making an analysis of the political situation, international political situation. This international political situation may improve a lot if the Trump administration succeeds in normalizing the relation with Russia. And this is very good from the point of view of space policy. This is my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Yeah.
Alberto, there's an interesting analogy that I've been working on. It's this notion, kumbaya does not translate well into Russian, but playing a damn good game of chess does. And arguably, there's a corollary that it doesn't necessarily translate into Chinese either, but playing a damn good game of Go does. We live in a situation where there's a game of n-dimensional chess playing out with an arbitrary number of actors, with an arbitrary number of pieces, and an arbitrary number of moves. Okay, and we have to engage on all the different levels, that's finding, in the United States in particular, there's an acute problem with pushing the political pendulum back and forth to the point where the oscillations get larger and larger, and which creates a more and more divisive situation, when arguably what we need to be doing is asking the question of where it is we're trying to get to. What's the outcome that represents the confluence of interests that can be achieved, and how can we lend our efforts to make that so? There isn't necessarily agreement across the board amongst human beings. There seldom is. Okay, but there is, we can identify what we can agree on for those things that we do not necessarily agree on, so long as they don't have malevolent intent, or evil, at their root or to cause harm or merchandise hate, we try and, be as tolerant as we can, as we would like to be tolerated. And for those that really want to become, self-serving, transactional, agents of evil, maybe there's a reservation we can put them on.
Gary, it's not even the evil versus the good. The fact is a technological condition. As you say, there are chess pieces. There are a number of pieces up there. How do they get arranged? There's something else is called expediency. It's not expedient. It's not good for humanity to take the path of divisiveness. Sure, you can build a lot of weapons, but they don't feed people. They're not useful. So, and the world leaders know this. The UN knows it. The OST is a powerful instrument. We can create a narrative that is there around this treaty somehow to describe this, as Adriano puts it, the current state of civilization. Where are we going? And it's quite fantastic. You have to accept it. What has happened to human society because of this space age, because of the way this occurred. Anyway, look, I think I'm running out of battery, so I have to disconnect for a bit. Okay, look, it was really nice. Thank you so much, Adriano, for the meeting. All right, bye then.
Okay. Well, I think, however, I believe then Werner want to say something, but I want just to say that what we could try to do is to put together some basic concepts of our reading of the reality. We can try to start putting together short pieces of our reading of the reality. Alberto gave us a vision that is optimistic, and I tend to agree with him, and I hope he is right. And that would be on the internet, on the geopolitical, let me say, geopolitical level. What I'm afraid that, however, the internal politics, internal policy made by administration Trump in the US will generate so many conflicts, as Susan said before. That the situation maybe internal of the states will not be very much optimistic in the near future, even if as I said, there are reasons why such a big protest came up and voted for something disruptive, different, and so on. However, I think we have Werner, then Alberto. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Let me say some arguments which I think are crucial or maybe crucial. We as SRI, as an organization, we should make clear that we are heading for peace on Earth, and that it is crucial in the future that if mankind will survive in the long run, we have to go into space. I think this is an argument we should focus on in the future. And I am also optimistic, a little bit optimistic, like Alberto is, of course. And what you said, Adriano, I want to say that I'm agreeing with you. We should not look left and right, but we should look up. So this is what I would say and contribute to our discussion.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Werner. Alberto.
I think so. Yeah.
Alberto, you're mute.
Okay. The conflicts that you see in internal politics in the US, but they also exist in Europe, you know very well, at different levels in different countries. But you are confounding the conflict was originated inside the society, and the polarization of politics that is going on in all democratic countries is an effect, is not the cause of this internal conflict. By the way, I don't want to go further into this analysis because I don't think it is our purpose. I would like to also talk about the problem of rich people, oligarchs, and so on. This is capitalism at work. And we see that for space, having rich people that have a sincere interest in space is what has changed everything. Because now we wouldn't be in the situation where we are without Elon Musk, but also without Jeff Bezos, simply because private initiative has shown that it works much better than government agency, or better, it has to collaborate with government agencies. This we must go on talking about this, and by the way, there is nothing new. It's simply that the private initiative. I'm sorry that Tom is not here because this is free market operating. It's not. We have seen that when everything is controlled by governments, it becomes slow and inefficient. We see it in Europe. The European space, the ESA, and in general the European space world has not produced a Elon Musk equivalent. Why? Because it is fully controlled by the government. Even the companies that work for space in Europe, they are all government-owned companies. And they reason like government-owned entities. And this is a very important point because government-owned and they also government-owned companies reason like also the military. And by the way, the Western military was not for war in recent years, was essentially for itself and they said for peaceful purposes. But in the same time, there were many things that happened. I don't want to go too much into, maybe it could cause some more discussion that goes away from the main theme. But how the conflict in Eastern Europe was created is a very long story, and it is not just because Putin is bad. This is not an analysis. This is a very simplistic way to say things. In anyway, I think it's very positive that the current administration in the US wants to normalize the relation with Russia. Russia like it is, not change it. They don't want to change Russia. They want to accept it as it is. This is very important.
I want to say a few things of what Alberto said. First of all, I joined SRI because I believe in the vision and your goals, Adriano, and your team, right? I really do, and I see a place for it. But I also want to be realistic and be authentic. So first of all, Alberto, I respect your input. But if you look at the history of how Elon
sorry, Susan, sorry. There is a voice in the background that is disturbing.
That's not me.
No,
somebody.
Maybe Amalie. Amalie, can you mute, please? Okay. No, not Susan.
All the dreams that we have for our daughter, could she achieve any of those things?
Susan, you are muted now.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Somebody needs to mute. Okay, so I want to also put some facts and some reality into this. So, Alberto, I agree what you're saying to some extent, but if you look at the history of how Elon built all his companies, it was supported by US taxpayers' money. That's how he built it. So let's get some facts into the reality. Okay. And I also want to say when you eliminate a large group of a population, like taking away autonomy and sovereignty of women in the United States, the removal of DEIA as a political agenda, that means you're shutting out a large percentage of the population's voice. And that to me is not justice. That to me is not fair. That to me is not what we're trying to promote as SRI, or even the people like ourselves wanting to have equality in a future of space exploration. Yes, you know, politics is weaponized in many areas. But I would say that the power is where the money is. If you don't have money, you don't have a voice. That is the absolute truth, whether you want to agree with that or not. That applies in all areas of our humanity on Earth. And when we started, when you look at the history of space exploration, right, from 50 odd years ago, right, who was it who started it? Where was the money? Who supported it? So oligarchs, yes, the elite rich are the ones that propels any new industry since the beginning of our civilization, since we came out of the cave, right? So you can have all this rhetoric, you can have all these, theses and paper and all this, and you can have all these big debates. But if you don't have the money, you don't have the power, you don't have to say. And politics is important because it makes the rules and regulations that controls how we perform, what we can or cannot do. So when you dismantle a whole, infrastructure, I don't know. You can say, yes, technology. Yes, you could say, well, this group, that group, they have the voice, they can say this, but if they don't have the money, they have nothing. And that's the truth.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, I just want to say one thing, then I give the floor to Ghanim that raised his hand. Yeah, we have to be clear and very much adamantine in this. We are not against capitalism. We all the things that Alberto said about things made, but this is also, you can read Robert Pirsig when he says that parallel development is better than serial, no? Because in parallel, different initiative, different creativities can concur to freely in freedom to get results. So this is clear and simple. So we prize what Jeff Bezos has done and is making. We prize very much what Elon Musk has done and is making with the SpaceX. We also have written in our paper, in our the paper that we published 1 year ago about the critical points, critical issues toward 2030. There is a full chapter about Elon Musk methodology that we prize very much. So we are not against capitalism. We understand that without capitalism, we will not have reusable rockets probably now yet. But what I say is that if the Amazon workers are oppressed, they should fight for that. And this is not a contradiction with our. So we are not saying that we have that to make things going better, we have to destroy capitalism and make a socialist. We have already seen that this solution was not a solution at all, because things were serialized at the end, and the bureaucracy has the claim to decide who should work and who should not, and so this is terrible for the progress. So a free market is very much better, and a real free market that will be free from oligarchs, because oligarch is not capitalism. Oligarch is let me say, a bad version of capitalism. Oligarchs tend to monopoly, tend to close the market, not to open it and make it free. So the point is that we prize what some capitalists are doing, even if they are bad from the point of view of their relation to their workers and to the world and to the society, etc. But however, what they are doing is important. Well, we prize that. But in the same time, we say that the workers and by extension, the humans have the right to fight for their rights and to try to improve and to get better social conditions and so on. So I think there is no contradiction among these two things, and we have to give to Caesar what is of Caesar, and to continue pricing SpaceX and the Blue Origin and so on, and in the same time to give all of our solidarity and support to all the peoples of Earth to enter the only development direction that is going to space. Sorry, I said 2 words, but maybe I pronounced it 20 words. Ghanim, please.
Okay, thank you. So I think there is a big reason for frustration. I'm glad hearing.
And, sorry. And of course, women have a rise to fight, and then we should help women too, Susan, definitely, because we cannot say that women should go back 1 century in history. No, okay, sorry, close it.
Okay. Actually, I think there should be the reason why. I mean, I am frustrated, and I agree with Adriano about that. The reason why and this is my own perspective. Now, there is a notable deterioration in the living standard for people around the world. Today, we are living in a worse condition compared to the 80s. This is what I feel. We don't have that much jobs. We don't have that better economy. The deterioration also expands to human rights. We have seen crimes against humanity like never before in our lifetime. All this deterioration coming in the time where in SRI, I remember the first days when I participated in 2020, 2021, we are talking about reusable rockets, and therefore we will have a much better, we used to have a very much optimistic perspective when I first joined SRI. In the last 6 months, we started to see things differently. And I think this is how I feel. Yes, I feel frustrated, and I am scared about the future. I think the most important thing now is to describe the reality, what's going on, why we fear the future, to mobilize our work in the past, the 18 SDG, the work in the 18 SDG. To write the statement for COBUS, and in addition to that, to contact startups from industry to also support our statements.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Thank you, Ghanim. Sabine.
Sorry, I was in another meeting too. I wanted to point out that I see the actual situation with with a lot of concern. And some years ago, Elon Musk was my hero. I thought he is a pioneer of space and also space pioneer. And but what he has done is he has taken over Twitter, X, So he has some kind of media. He has Starlink. That is like a power of or monopole of communication, and he has also his Starship. And you see, NASA is taking yeah, advance from Starship. Also, the ISS send people via Starship from and to Earth, and now he wants to deorbit ISS, and he has so much power. He is now in the government. He is taking over data. He has founded PayPal. He has Grok, is it called? Also, I don't know what he wants to do, but I see it with a lot of concern that he has so much power and he has his hands and all. Also, if he switches it all off, many people will not have internet. They will not have, yeah, many things. So the space program will be fall down. And the European are very dependent on the US, on the United States, but above all, also Elon Musk, the space. But on the US, also with pay systems, bank systems, with many things. And we have to get independent from this. And I'm really, really worried that we will get a third world war. So, and I don't know if you think I am too negative, but I see the power. Yeah, Neuralink, yes. Yes. Also, he has a lot of control, mind control, yeah. And yeah, Susan, I agree with you. And also, he has constructed everything, and he's so powerful. And now with this Donald Trump, he has access to all data from the US citizen, and woof,
Okay.
also this I wanted to mention only, and we should think about it. And yeah.
Yes. So if we can get something, some guideline from this necessarily chaotical discussion, I didn't think it could be better than what it is, but at least we have put out, things that was important, because we were silent from some months, and I know why I was silent, because I am scared, and I don't have many concepts to propose. But that's why I was silent. But I think if we want SRI to go ahead, we have to, however, restarted from the situation, seeing the situation, the real situation, how it is, and try to get a description and to get some kind of strategy.
What I
Well,
wanted to
Adriano, oh, sorry.
I wanted
Sabine,
to add, Susan,
I
I
want to
want to
quickly
add,
say, go
I
ahead.
want to add something. So only if I see the situation in Germany, we have a Nazi party getting 20% and another right party getting 30%. So they have almost a half of the votes. And you see, in many countries, you have not oligarchs, but you have this, yeah, types of dictator types, so and right wing types, and in 1933 it has been the Jewish, now are the foreigners, and I find it very, very scary. This I wanted to add, and we have to have it in mind, all this. Yeah, sorry, I wanted to add this. Susan?
No, Sabine, I'm glad what you're saying. Look, all I want to say is that whatever produce the right to contribute, you can't eliminate Elon Musk in the equation. Whether you're for him, against him, for whatever, you have to incorporate him in anything that you discuss, you write, because he is a major influence player in this whole arena. And so, you know, it's very hard because it's politicized everything. So it's a matter of, Adriano, this organization, how you position yourself. You can stay as neutral as possible, but how neutral you want to position yourself, it's a very challenging position, but you cannot address the elephant in the room. That's a saying, right? And that's Elon Musk. Whether you have to include him in your discussion, your debates. Like I said, whether you're for him or against him, you can't remove him from the equation. He is a major part of this whole thing.
He is the major part. He is a major person. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hi, Bernhard.
Hello. Yes. Sorry, I was in a performance event, so I could not join before. So I'm sure you have made a lot of progress. So if there are any
Not
point
very
of
much
action to follow up, and
not very proud.
interesting debate, yeah.
But we have, at least we have put on the table what our concerns and our fears and what we are feeling, all these kind of things. That's a beginning of a discussion, trying to understand if we will be able to make our fourth Congress next year, and if we will be able to write a thesis on the status of civilization and all these kind of things. And I think we have to start, just to summarize briefly, to start putting on the table, even if not linking each other, but concepts, you know, what are pieces of the reading of the reality, put it on the table and then try to get a sense from that.
Yes, I will try to catch up what was discussed, and if there are some summary. But clearly here I wanted also to look at actions, because there are a few deadlines. In particular, deadline for ISC, as you mentioned, it's tomorrow, and I have seen some abstract that Adriano you have put, but it's important also to get a good coverage in as well in the technical session, in the other session, and in particular, I mean, I'm organizing the session on space exploration, so it would be good also to have some talks of space renaissance overview there from the technical side. Then there are also another deadline, which is attending the IEF Spring Committee meetings. So I think there it would be quite important to have a few of us joining at least. Some of the committee are in presence, some are hybrid. So we should also use this opportunity to get SRI members joining some of the IF committee. As you know, as SRI members, you're also entitled to become a full member. Some of our colleagues like Sabine are even vice chair of some committee. So it's important that we are well present in some of this IEF committee, not only for the business of preparing ISC, but also for being present in the different technical committees. So that's yes.
Bernard, how do we join that? And also, do we overview? Sorry, do we? If you join the committees, do we review?
Yeah. So there was a question from Suzanne. I think it's important one. If you want to join a committee, first look at the list of committees that is on the website. There are administrative committees and there are technical committees, and then pick a few committees where you would like to join, and then you can use the opportunity of the Paris Spring meetings to go there as an observer. I can introduce you to the chair of this committee, asking you to attend as observer. Some committees are also hybrid. So then you could also join in hybrid format. Some others are not, but I could help you in this. So please pick the committee and I can help you to contact the chair. The formal procedure is also you can write a letter to the chair and to IF, Secretariat in copy, and say that you are interested to become observer of the committee. Some committees ask you to attend at least 2 or 3 times to go through the procedure of becoming member. But so, yeah, you have to play by the rules, which are a bit different from committee to committee. Then, clearly, it's important that you attend a few committee meetings. The ISC Sydney will be an important one. Otherwise, there will be the following ISC that will be in Antalya in Turkey. Yeah, so please, it would be, I mean, it would be nice that each, actually, of the vice president of SRI would have some function that is well distributed over the different IF committees.
As it would happen, Bernard, I co-chair the Space Habitats Committee. I'm on the International Power Committee, and I co-chair several of the sessions within the Systems Engineering Symposia.
Yes, so very good.
And I submitted, 4 abstracts, as the lead, and have 2 others, as a secondary author.
Okay.
We should arguably have a means of, getting of sharing those better than email. Okay, so that we know what we're doing, collectively as an organization.
Yes. So I'm aware of some of the abstracts that Adriano has submitted because he circulated then, and then now also when you are co-author of an abstract, you can consult your database, my papers, it's called at AF, and then I can see all the papers where I am co-author at least. So that's a good thing. Good practice, Gary, if you put an abstract where there is some work linked with Space Renaissance, it would be nice that you invite a few co-authors from Space Renaissance as well, if they can help.
What the idea is to be able to, as because of my various and sundry roles, when I go into IAF Astra, .org, I have access to the database and I can sort it 6 ways from Sunday. Okay, yes. But what I'm describing is that we could literally have a subset of that information that has an intersection with SRI.
Yes.
And it's just a manipulation of a partial abstract from the from the database. And I think we should, it could be as simple as we have an automatic page that if you send your abstract into it, it shows up on a web page, as the abstract for this conference in this symposia.
Okay.
For all of our participation in conferences.
Yeah,
I can make a form. I can make a form online where we can upload our abstracts, and then we can make a page, a web page, with all of our abstracts listed on the website.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. In particular for the recent ISC and for the upcoming one. Now, in fact, for the past ISC, if you are IF in the IF system, you can access all the abstracts that you have submitted before, and there might be a way for all of us to be sure that we have some keywords, and then you could try from the future, if you put this keyword, have access to all the abstract that contain, for instance, Space Renaissance keyword.
And that also drives up the page ranking because it's it is new relevant relevant content that is germane to a subject area and links to other websites.
Yeah, I like that. So my question is, we've submitted 10 abstracts, and I'm trying to put SRI as co-authors because there's obviously in space health, space medicine, space technology, medtech, but I don't know who to put. I don't know if we should put Adriano, put you, Bernard. I don't know how to add you as co-authors.
The point that
would you like?
It's very easy to add a
for me to
co-author.
show you.
Yeah,
yes, please. Sorry.
When you submit the abstract, you have an option add a co-author, and it's enough just to type the name because we are already all in the system. And then you get...
Right. I get that. But my point is, Bernard, who do I add? Bernard, do I add you? Do I add Adriano? Do I add both of you? Do I add all of the people? I mean, I need to know what your protocol is.
I think you should invite people that contribute. And I would be happy if you invite me as co-author to contribute.
Okay. Anybody else? Because what I could do is, I like Gary's idea if that we can have a place where all of us who are submitting abstracts to actually upload to that one page, and then we have a whole list, and then people can say, well, I'm interested in contributing that, and then they can put their name, and then we can add their names to it. It's just a bit more simplified.
The beauty of ISC is that you can submit an abstract now because the deadline is tomorrow, and then you have the possibility to add co-author later. That's very specific to IAC.
Right.
Other conferences do not allow it, but this allows
I got it. Yeah, which is good. But my point is, I mean, I know how to add co-authors, right?
Yeah.
So it's like our 6th year now submitting. But my point is with SRI, do I add everybody?
No, I think you don't
from
need to
SRI, or so I need to know who's interested in this particular paper. What is your procedure to add people to abstracts?
I think the easiest is, as Gary and Adriano were mentioning, we should have a list of, title of abstract and main author, and we could circulate this among ourselves, and then we can say, we can volunteer, say, yes, I'd like to contribute to this abstract. This is the procedure that Adriano has followed so far, so it's relatively inclusive, and this allows also to get some additional contribution from some of the other members.
Also, one of the things you should be aware, I know when I review abstracts, if somebody just provides a laundry list of folks that they've added to it, that's different than someone that has made a substantive contribution to writing the paper. The rules with respect to the abstracts, as I understand them and I interpret them when I have to review abstracts, is that if somebody's name is submitted as an author or co-author, they have made a substantial technical contribution to that to the work that was done that paper represents.
You are talking about abstract, you are talking about paper?
Because I'm talking about the paper, but when you turn in an abstract, you identify the authors and co-authors. Part of the reason why you can add co-authors later, once you've submitted the abstract, is that the set of folks that actually end up helping you write something.
Yes, hopefully, yes. These are people that are contributing. Yeah, that's a general principle.
I agree. Right, and I agree with you, Gary. I understand where you're going, because over the years you have people commit for the abstract, you put their name on it, and then when it gets accepted, they contribute nothing, or they contribute very minimal. So it's not fair in terms of the manuscript that you have to actually write, right? So that's something I totally concur with you, Gary. We figure out if you
can take advantage of with people putting their that enjoy the idea of having their name in the book as many times as possible.
But it's also to help them build their resume, right? So they can add that on their resume, and they haven't contributed. I've had this many times over the years, so we got to just, I mean, I agree, but it's very hard. Sometimes people commit and then later maybe they don't have the time, so it wasn't intentional. Sometimes it is, but it's something, I don't know,
Yeah,
it's a problem.
there's another test that I've used is that if somebody's listed as a co-author on a paper and they can't tell you what it's about or speak to its conclusions, then there's a problem.
Yeah, but now it's even more strict, you know. Now for all serious publication, you have to indicate what was your contribution and so on, because you are liable to the content of all the papers where you are co-author. So in a now a professional publishing platform, everybody that is co-author must have read the paper and have contributed. And we can also in the final paper indicate the amount of contribution.
Yeah. Now, also what's interesting is they added in a requirement that you specify what, if any, AI tools you've used.
Yeah, yes, we have discussed that at the IPC.
Yeah,
and,
which is interesting. You know, and that, you know, so I happen to use something called Grammarly, which helps out with a lot of typographical errors and, you know,
we
bizarre
accept that.
syntax.
We accept that. We have discussed that in the international program committee. People that want to get you know, a better grammar or better flow, it's fine. But clearly
it shouldn't be generating the content that you're claiming is your substantive contribution.
But there's AI check software, but I think Grammarly is great in terms of, because not English is everyone's first language, although President Trump just made it English the official first language of the United States. So, but I think it just equalizes for people whose English is, you know, not first language to write. I think
some people have argued that I don't speak the English language as a primary language. As to what computer programming language is my primary is a matter of some debate.
All right, but I think Adriano, if you want help, I can help you with that sort of, I don't know, one-page Excel file for this, at least for this year's IAC, because we've submitted over 10 abstracts. Obviously, not all of it's going to be accepted, and you know, but we should actually generate that.
Well, I think the simplest thing to do is that I put a form online where you can upload. Everybody can upload their abstracts. Then we get these abstracts on the website. We make a page with the list and the author, and asking if somebody wants to co-author because it has a positive contribute to give. And so we will centralize all the information in a kind of database and make it available to all of our members.
Is it available now? Can you put the link in the chat? Or have you not created it yet?
No, I have to do it. I have to implement.
Oh, okay.
I will do it in the next day. So let me say the early next week you will have it. Okay.
Interestingly enough, I just went out and clicked on my papers, and was able to do a cut and paste, and it includes if someone can test and see if the links are actually truly live for you.
Yeah. Okay. This is but beyond the abstract. Huh? The abstract is 400 words.
Good.
And that's due for tomorrow, so we can focus on that. But my recommendation is to have, you know, a broad representation of the different action plan of SRI, because so Adriano has put a number of abstracts which are very good. You know, that's the UN flag and so on. But we need also a bit of technical abstract that shows as well that we have a larger base. Yeah. So that's for tomorrow. There might be a little, let's say, they could be tolerant if the abstracts are submitted next week, because in all cases we are going to evaluate them in the last week of March. The abstract.
The Barnhard. What I have found in the in the sessions that I have some degree of responsibility for is if you get an abstract in, you can revise it.
Exactly. So
okay. It's for some amount of time, but there has to be something substantive that gets in by the deadline,
Yes,
or in a or you're in a problem situation.
yes, I think it's a good principle as well. And it's nice to say, I have submitted by the deadline, That's what I tell all my students as well. I don't want that they are spoiled and know that they can do things after the deadline. So my students, they already submitted the abstract before the deadline. And I think it's a good principle for everybody. And here we have the chance that we can modify it, but still make the first submission before the deadline. So that's one urgent issue. Another urgent thing, I was invited in a bigger SpaceCom conference that is taking place next week in London on Tuesday, Wednesday. And so I will be a moderator in a panel on lunar exploration with some industry and so on. And I will be also a part of a panel on space technology and applications. And I plan to hype there a lot of space renaissance. And the conference is free registration. So if any of you is available in London on Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got the possibility to let you in and also present you. So I'm talking, if we have, do we have any UK people here in the board? Oh, yeah. But,
yeah. I'm UK, but I'm in US, of course.
Yeah, you're in the US. So,
yeah.
Okay,
Amalie,
so we...
Yeah. Amalie is in the UK, I think. Amalie, you're still with us?
Yeah, hi, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Can
so
you
if
hear
you would
me?
like to join, and also if any of you, even upon short notice...
No, but Amalie, are you near London?
Yes, I'll be in London. You want me to do something?
Well, you can attend this conference. That will be, I think, very interesting for you. And then I can introduce you to the community. Also,
that'd be lovely. What's the date, Barnhard?
It's on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's called SpaceCom. You can look at the website.
And you can... Right, wait a minute.
This is in the Excel Congress Center, near London City Airport.
Oh, God, I'm trying to write this down.
Yeah, and now I wonder if any of you would like to join
I'll go.
in.
Adriano, can you send me the details where it is? I can't
Yes,
really hear Barnhard very well.
Yes, I'll circulate it.
Yeah.
But a message is also for others of you.
Yeah, just send me the address and the time. I'll go down there.
Yeah, but if other members of the board would like to join in...
I think Jerry Stone is also in England.
Yes. But
is Jerry going? Oh, I'll ask Jerry then, because I might see Jerry tomorrow.
Yeah, we can ask Jerry as well. But if any of you, it's London, it's, it's €200 to go there. And this could be a great opportunity for some of you. I can introduce you to colleagues. So if some of you are willing to attend, I can co-fund half of your cost. Yeah.
It sounds great. I'll ask Jerry. He'll know where it is.
Yeah, sorry that it is so late notice, because they confirmed their invitation only last week.
But Werner? Werner.
Yeah.
Is this sponsored by UK Space Agency and the UK Space Government? UK government? Who's sponsoring this?
It's a UK Space. It's partly sponsored by UKSA, but it's called SpaceCom UK.
Okay, maybe I might make it then.
Yeah,
but I will have to book my flight and everything, and so.
I mean, I think it's a great business opportunity also. It's a UK largest space industry event. Just Google SpaceCom UK and you get it. And it's free entrance. And I'm part of the two panels. And I could, introduce you to a number of people. So there's a DG of Visa. There are a number of representatives from different countries. You can look. It's a very amazing program from what it's advertised there. Huh?
Could you stick the link in the chat right now if you have it?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Thanks, Bernard.
Yeah, it's space -com, but I will put it. Yeah. Another, so we mentioned about this, about the Paris committee meetings. And so now that we have Gary as well, so what is the status with our ISDC joint event? Gary
By
and
the way,
Adriano?
I'm presenting at ISDC in the space health track, so I would very much like to also, promote SRI there.
Yeah, what I was asking Adriano and Gary, because we are supposed also to be organizers of a session. So what is the status of this joint session?
I got any more information about that. Nobody wrote to me since months, so I think I don't know if this option is still available or not.
I do have some information on that, Adriano. One, there is going to be a lunar session, and there is going to be a space ambassador session, and there is going to there's a bit of ambiguity with respect to the space solar power symposium, which goes all day Thursday and Friday. The possibility existed that the Living in Space Initiative would run a workshop during that period, or have some collection of papers, if not detailed presentations that are solicited for it. And that was one of the options that I suggested. Basically, what it comes down to is that if there are substantive abstracts available of presentations, they don't have to be formal papers, that somebody would like to do, we can find a home for it. Right now, there is Sunday is the lunar day. The Saturday is the Space Ambassadors Day, and the as I said, the Space Solar Power Symposium is Thursday and Friday. There's also so there, to my knowledge, there is not a SRI track.
Yeah. So okay, but even though there is not a SRI track, can you find a way, Gary, to integrate us in the existing track?
Yes, my apologies if the last three sentences I said conflated the issue. That's my point. There's absolutely, the key thing to do is make sure I have abstracts that I can go through and we can find a home.
Oh yeah, but I was thinking even before abstract, for each of the sessions.
A title, for God's sake, a title and a presenter that's going to be there.
Abstract, Gary, because we were supposed to be in charge of a session. We are not anymore. Can we be?
The answer to that, Bernard, is that I do not run the programming for the general conference. What I can do, however, is that anything somebody wants to present, because I co-chair the Space Solar Power Symposia. I assist with the programming on Space Ambassadors. I assist with the programming on the lunar track. And various others. I can do things. I just can't, rewrite
that's fine.
the program.
But for instance, a simple action. Could you put in the ambassador program Adriano, because he's really our ambassador?
Sorry. I think I will not go to Orlando this year. I've traveled too much in 2000.
So
I have to limit myself, and I want also to talk about the 18 SDG initiative. That's the other point that I wanted to.
Yeah, but this would be a great platform to talk about the 18 SDG, the ISDC. You need.
Sorry.
But we need to find somebody.
What I want to say, Bernard. I want to say that the coalition now is 130. Needs a new coordinator. I have to talk with Frank White and Robert Katz, and possibly with Gary about that, because I think if the coalition has to go ahead, we need a new chair. for that thing. I don't think I will have.
No, this is fine, Adriano. But this means that you don't need to go to all the events to represent SDG 18. We have a core group, and those that are available should present something about SDG 18 at ISDC.
Yes.
Just wanted to say
So-
that
Yeah.
We can go through, and one of the other things we can do
for me
is
it
I
will
can press
be
for a plenary slot, slot, and make a point of that. But I want, a priori, I'm a guest on the SR board and a member. Okay,
who's talking in the background?
So-
Somebody talking.
So I'm attending because
Yeah.
I'm speaking. So I would love to represent SRI.
Yeah.
So because since I'm going to speak anyway, and I will be there.
Yeah. So I
So
think that,
definitely.
yeah, I mean, you would be a great ambassador for SRI.
Well,
Yes, I would
so-
love to talk.
Okay, so good. So we have Suzanne.
I want to add that it will be a big effort for me to go to Sydney this year, and therefore I will limit all the other. I also have to go to Vienna, so I think my priorities will be Cottbus and Sydney, and
that's all fine. That's all fine.
That's why if we have to do something for the 18 SDG in New York in September, then somebody else should take care of the organization.
Yeah, that's all understood. And that's why we have a board. The board is made of people that can represent SRI at the different events, in particular within their geographical domain or within their thematic domain. So, action, we have an ambassador for the ambassador session. So could I contact the organizer of the lunar session and be myself part of it? Because
so right now I believe Madhu
is
responsible for the lunar session.
Yes, okay. So
who's responsible for the Mars session? I'm not sure. It might be Pascal Lee.
Pascal Lee.
And Stephen Ackerley is responsible for the Space Ambassador session. If we want to go, and John Mankins and I are co-chair of the Space Solar Power Symposia, and with respect to the plenary slots, which occur every morning, those are up for discussion. You need a champion for that, and I would be happy to consider that. Basically, it's a negotiated deal. There isn't one person that's in charge of it. It's basically a competitive selection of what it for each time slot, what's up against what, and what is the topic that's perceived to be of particular interest to feature on as the keynote for that day.
Okay. And that's a single person, or can it be a panel?
So the issue comes in is every morning, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in the 10 a.m. to there's a in the morning there is a plenary session. It actually starts, I guess, at it goes 8:30 to 10, and at 10 the technical, and then there's the breakout sessions. Okay, and so there's a list of speakers associated with each day. Okay, and they curate that list, and the top, whoever essentially gets the most votes, and first ends up with that slot.
Yes.
And then they work their way through it. Okay, so there's no one person that has absolute control. That's a negotiated item. But if there's somebody, again, I don't speak SRI. I'm just a member.
Yeah, but I think that to be realistic, I don't see that SRI would get one slot. But if there is a slot on a topic, which is not only individual speaker, but if there is a panel that is using a slot, is that possible? Then you
That's
could have...
that's certainly a possibility. Also, from time to time, I end up with a plenary slot. It's no guarantee. It's not guaranteed, but from time to time, I end up with one, and it's possible that we could have a topic that had a major intersection, with SRI.
Yes.
So there's some bottom line. There's some flexibility there, but we need to be, interacting with them directly now
Yes.
because the window is closing.
Yeah.
So I want to add.
Sorry,
Let me. No,
just a moment,
Adriano.
please. Before some people are leaving,
Yeah.
we have other points that we cannot develop today, so we have to adjourn our meeting to next week, I think. If you agree, we can continue the.
I just want to add that at ISDC this year, that Jared Isaacman is a keynote speaker.
I'm sorry, Susan,
So
but
if you know who he is, we should try to get a panel or somebody representing SRI on that same day morning. Right, Gary?
Yeah.
He's nominated by
Yeah.
Trump to head the
That's
NASA
administrator, yeah.
administration.
Right. He has not been confirmed by the Senate yet, but
Yeah,
yes.
but
Not
still,
yet.
And he has interesting things to say regardless.
Yes,
He's running
exactly.
his own space program.
Yeah. So for sure, I'm planning to go because also, as you know, we are planning to launch with SpaceX our Space Renaissance for All gallery, and so I will attend ISDC for sure, and there might be the possibility of a Space Renaissance event for the launch of our gallery with the Expression Company.
Cool.
So
Great. There's another thing that I did forget to mention. The Space Development Foundation runs in conjunction with XISP Inc. and other sponsors, runs an after-hours networking.
Yes.
In the presidential suite.
Yes, I entered one of
every
yours
night.
in LA. It was amazing, Gary. So I think I want to come again.
SRI could indeed be a co-sponsor on one or more nights, and it is basically an opportunity from 10 in the evening to around 1 in the morning when I chase everybody out to talk to a wide collection of folks on a more personal level about what their intersection is with space.
Yeah, so this was very productive. What type of budget are you talking about?
Oh, we typically, co-sponsors put in like $500, $500 US.
Yeah, I can put 500 from my foundation.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to contribute to that too.
Okay, good. Oh my God.
Hey, wonderful.
500.
And one of the things that we ask is if there's some, special, decor or theme or anything. Oh, we've even done the whiteboard deal with markers, and started getting into some interesting physics at one point.
Yeah, but for instance,
and a lot of younger, people show up. Typically, college, graduate school folks, and it is one of the things that's critically important.
Yeah. So if the SRI board agrees also to contribute a small amount just for the symbol, then we could also propose a theme which is linked with the SRI for this.
Absolutely. And there's a key thing. There's this ancient human tradition called storytelling. It's where you inculcate the youth, not telling them what to think, but explaining your experiences to give them a broader database, a broader data set of perspectives on things, and that that's what happens.
So one thing I would propose is all participants to this cocktail are given SRI membership, and I could fund the membership. Let's say for 20 youngsters.
In a more fanciful terms, one of the things I did actually, this was when I was running the suite for said Space Vision conference.
Yes.
I purchased a very large, nice bottle of tequila, and said the deal is that if you can come up and explain what it is you're going to do next, that you think can make a substantive contribution towards space development. The drinks on the sponsor. And
Gary, it was a big event just from
the we can make this fun and important.
From the business side, I think that SRI could use this opportunity to get more members from the US and from the youth.
Yes,
and I would be ready to pay the SRI fee for the first 20.
That's a good thing.
Yes, for the because we.
Yes. By the way, our finance is another point to be discussed. It cannot be done today because we already have spent 2 hours. I think definitely.
But because I think that we don't.
My proposal is to go ahead the next Tuesday, the 13th. So I will reconvocate a recall for the board meeting, so we can develop the other points.
Yes.
That
Okay.
also important to be defined.
Yeah, the points that are not urgent is fine. Yes. But I think ISDC we should work this week with Gary.
Thank you for considering the same. Do I address the goings on to you folks directly or to the board? How do you want me to do that?
Yes, please. And I will also contact Madhu, because I participated to some of the lunar symposium organized at the ISDC, and then I will propose him to contribute. Actually, he invited me at least to speak, and then there I could speak as SRI and for Lunex. And I think this is very useful at this moment, because we need to help now US to stabilize their lunar program. It's under threat.
I cannot speak in stronger terms about the importance of making an international relationship work. If that has made a tremendous difference in the preservation and the enhancement of NASA programs when there's been international participation. There wouldn't be a space station if the international partnerships didn't exist.
Yeah, of course. But now, in terms of the moon, our experience is that even when there is a presidential shift against the moon, like it was Obama time, now there is some uncertainty to have international partners stabilize the program, and we are here to help. And so I know Ludwig was very helpful in some of these difficult moments. So this is the time for us to help now.
Now, there's a interesting thing. One of the abstracts that I turned in for IAC is dealing with what's known as, building profitable cislunar interoperable network communication architecture applications infrastructure today. Basically, it was an interesting deal that I wrote the abstract and I sent it to my contacts at NASA headquarters, who said they could not be a co-author on the paper.
Yeah.
But they heavily annotated the abstract.
Okay, that's interesting.
And, what I would like to go off and do is leverage that in terms of the broader coordination with international partners, because that's a key aspect of making LunaNet happen. And so there's important things there.
Yeah, we can help from the technical side, but also from the international policy side. And actually, this topic is a topic of the panel I have to moderate on Wednesday in London.
Okay, so
I will report to you, Gary.
Your email address, whenever I send you something, it puts it on it defers it. It puts it on hold. I don't know whether or not you ever get it or not. So if you can whitelist me, Barnhard.
No, but be careful. You can use the Space Renaissance address, but not
I'll use
not
that.
my ESA address. My ESA address now, I am banned from ESA.
No, it's some university address that you some university address that you have that shows up.
Oh, really? That's strange. Okay. Okay, so I should look in my
Yeah, just drop in the chat the address you'd like us to use.
Gary, if you need a Space Renaissance others, I can make it for you tomorrow.
Yes, that's good also.
I can do it. Okay.
Werner, Werner, why are you banned from ESA?
Because I left ESA. No, I'm not
You
banned.
left ESA? What do you mean you left?
Yes,
You
I
left
left
ESA? What do
I
you
left
mean?
ESA. I retired from ESA actually.
Oh, you retired. Okay, because
And
when you
then-
said ban, I thought, oh, what did you do?
No, but de facto, my old ESA address doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
But
don't use that.
Many people have still, by default, my ESA address, and then this goes nowhere. But because you are my friend, I'm also giving you my personal address on the chat, which don't communicate to others, but only you. Because I have my Leiden Observatory address, which filters a lot of scam, and then I have this personal address on Gmail that I just shared with you now.
Okay, friends, can we close this meeting and adjourn to next
Yeah. So there was no urgency before next week?
I have one question to Bernard.
Yeah.
The restaurant beside ¿cómo se llama? Beside the conference place in Paris.
Yeah.
Also we have on Martes, we have a meeting there. Also we will meet there after Ithakus.
Okay, so you will. Yeah.
And is this one? Warte mal.
Okay, yes.
Wait. I have to. This here. So. Can you read it? Is it this one? Can you read it?
Not really, but just send me a message and I can check it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Indicate my hotel will be just in front. I will be just close to it. Yeah. And so for the spring committee meetings, let's establish a list of who is coming from SRI, and is there a way we could organize one SRI event in Paris? Yeah. Like a dinner or something like that, together with some of the committees that are relevant for us. Yeah.
Yes, but Tuesday is a meeting for Ithakus.
Yes.
And Wednesday we have the reception, so it could be in Thursday.
Yeah, on Thursday, yes, there could be. But okay, we can figure out also another event. Doesn't need to be a dinner. Another. We have to identify the list of committees also where we represent SRI, because some of them are meeting at the same time, so we need to distribute ourselves in a wise way. So you take care of Ithakus.
Okay. Thank you.
I will go to others one. Yeah. Okay. So
have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Next week, I'm not available at 9 o'clock, but you can start without me like you did today. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.